Hello everyone! Blue Star Saber here once again to do another Star Wars Andor review. Season 2's episodes 4 to 6. Let's see, has it ever been to Gamor? I have friends everywhere. And what a festive evening, in which these episodes cover the second story arc of the Star Wars Andor Season 2, which will be 3 years before the events of the Battle of Yavin, which you even see on like this before the episodes actually start with the first one of this 3-part story arc, of course, as Andor is typically known for. This episode follows up after the events of last batch of episodes, which was 4 years before, in which you have Andor's mission of stealing a TIE fighter, advanced TIE fighter, going wrong, which he ends up being landing on the planet Yavin 4, in which I believe he is taken prisoner with like a skirmish between lawless rebel alliance members. We saw eventually escaping to try and rescue like his friends, in which unfortunately I believe the one Bravo ends up being killed as they are trying to avoid the Empire and their visas, if you will. Mon Mothma, meanwhile, was having her wedding celebration. Her daughter's wedding celebration, having very mixed emotions of it, not wanting her daughter to go with it, but she ends up doing it. While also struggling with the fact her friend is now getting cold feet with like this whole rebel thing, with her partner in crime, Luthen Raoul, deciding that he needs to be that her childhood friend needs to be assassinated to keep Mon Mothma safe. Also, you have, Krennic and the ISB discussing like what to do with Gorman, which is going to be a more recurring thread throughout these out the season of like extracting their resources and also putting a propaganda machine to turn the galaxy against them so they can do whatever crimes they want to do. But that, of course, that's at the same time, you see that Cyril Khan has gone to a relationship with the female ISB agent, who was able to put Cyril Khan's mother in place for a change. So, those are all the events that happened like last episode. Basically, you had the death of like Andor's best friend, Mon Mothma's childhood friend, ending those two characters' career, as well as probably the permanent goodbye of B2 Emo, who waited patiently for Andor to return, only to be left with like behind the farm, as it was probably the safest that he could be. And with that little summary out of the way, I can now try and give a remember like summarize and review the remaining events of the episodes. The first one, in which you have, of course, Bink waking up from like what appears to be a dream and having a bit of illusions of, her torturer, Dr. Grost, who did that sound thing. But she tries to, imagining like him torturing this soldier apparently that they encountered on her last mission with Andor, as it's revealed that she and Andor are now in officially relationship again after apparently years when they are sort of broke up, if you will. I think it's what caused like the jealous boyfriend at first with Bix to start some of the events of the first season. But yeah. So you have like that, and apparently she's been having dreams about it, and there's even like they have like struggling with like trying to do their spy missions and also their daily lives, as you kind of see them go out shopping a bit for food and all that stuff. And they want to try and keep a low profile because, well, the Imperial cameras as they're on Coruscant, and also you can't really go to the park. And there's also a bit of tension because Andor apparently killed a young soldier that spotted Binks, so they need to like keep that covered. So but yeah, they're trying to keep that covered up. Meanwhile, we also cut to like hold on, let me just find the character. Let me just find the character So many characters play a role today. Let's see, you have Cyril Khan, who has apparently been transferred to Gorman and running the estate. He's, let's see, appears to be, let's see, as far as his mother's concerned, a demotion and all that stuff, thinking that he's just screwed up having a decent life on course, and as well as a relationship with Dedera, if you will. But Khan is actually just being sent on assignment by the IBS, particularly his girlfriend, to get in contact and spy on the Gorman rebels, if you will. So yeah, as we can see, she is giving Khan like the orders to get contact with these rebels, including meeting their leader here, Carlo Ranza. So yeah, he goes to their meetings, listens to them talk. Let's see these two rebels here. I've got all the proper images of all of them, but let's see. He does all these sort of things to make sure that he checks whether or not they've been in contact with him. Eventually, painting himself to be a sort of like ally, if you will, but in fact, working, of course, for Dedero. Where is it? Sorry, here we are. Deirdre Mara or something, as she's in charge, reporting back to her so that they can get enough information that they can give to her boss. Here we go. Let's see, Leo Patsagas, who's not really happy with how some of the ISB agents, like this one here, let's see, Largret has been handling some of the extra like prisoners they've had to try and find Axis, aka Luthen, with Lonnie, Luthen's spy. Let's see, convincing him that okay, you know what, we're arresting too many people, which seems to calm it down a bit, and it also seems to win him some favors with fellow ISB agents, if you will, while this is going down. So, but yeah. Anyway, but at the same time, Lonnie here ends up learning that Dedera, who has not been happy about being not transferred from like the Axis project, trying to get the one that is currently in charge of it to let her know some stuff up, even though he's told her that you're no longer in charge of that situation. Lonnie eventually finds out that she is actually on Gorman, and of course, informs Luthen Ral, who goes to tell who goes to contact Andor for like a mission, as that's how the episode sort of ends of Andor after a bit of talk with Bix. Let's see, Bix that he's going to need to go this mission this time a bit solo. Meanwhile, I think also you have like Mom Mothma trying to it might be the next episode, but Mom Mothma here trying to desperately win support for like in the Senate to try and produce some rights to protect Gormans and other planets from sort of like forced insecurity, but most of the senators, even the ones that Mon Mothma's helped out, isn't really doing it. Meanwhile, Wellman here has created a sort of like some sort of manages this sort of like gas just extracting device or some sort of thing that allows help fuel ships for like Saw Gerrera's forces sent to like assist, but he's been then of course held hostage by Saw Gerrera to keep him around so that his own men could learn how to manage the device, if you will. So, but yeah, that's basically. I'd say that was more or less basically the first episode. So yeah, he's at with women forced to teach Saul's man, someone called Paluti, to work on a rhodium extractor as part of a fuel heist, basically. But anyway, yeah, you have basically Andor Gritzy seeing a beacon that Luthen isn't going to find him, so that ends the episode. Yeah, arguably, I think this one's a bit of a slow starter episode, if you will. It's a bit of for those who want some bit of action, you're not going to probably get that much in this episode, though. I think most people should probably by now expect that Andor, as first episode on arc, is more of a build up rather than any deep action. So yeah, I do like how we are exploring for my thoughts on this. I do like how we're exploring a bit of Bix's mental trauma, PTSD, as she's dealing with the ghosts of let's see, torturer here, if you will, who seems to have very much, in some ways, perhaps permanently broke her in some regards. So, but yeah, even with a stable relationship, let's see, even if she's gone back into a relationship with Andor, which I suppose makes sense given the fact all they've been through together, that she would probably go back to the one source of comfort that she has left in the galaxy, since she can no longer really go home, if you know. And a lot more of their friends have been killed over the years. So yeah, but at the same time, Andor's perhaps being a bit too protective by not wanting her to go on missions, wanting to remain incognito and all that stuff. But she wants to have a bit more freedom, if you will. So I do like how you got little struggles with their sort of relationship, even when they appearing to get very close and physical, if you will. But let's see, with hugging and kissing, if you will. But yeah, so I do like that little struggle. Meanwhile, I do like how we're finally sort of tackling the sort of Gorman storyline that was being built up throughout most of Andor, and you actually get to see the planet itself. It looks very well detailed, like the sort of pentagon shapes you had. I like how all the actors on it are French, giving it a bit of a distinct culture human culture compared to most of them. Which if you see let's see the Empire, most of their imperial officers sound very British. So yeah, let's see. I suppose it makes sense that Gorman, which is about to try and do a revolution, would be done by the French. But I think what the amazing thing is, what I heard, is that the Gorman language is one that they've made for this show based on the French language. So props to the show for that sort of dedication and work for this entirely new culture that's arguably going to be mostly in for this story arc and next story arc of Andor. So yeah. So yeah, I do like how you've got let's see, on Andor and then meeting their leaders here, who being seemingly at first voice of reason, but have been secretly gathering feral Gorman patriots trying to find out what the Empire's doing, because they're basically building an armory for when they might need to possibly massacre, let's see, the Gormans if they keep defying their, let's see, plans. But I do like how you've got Cyril Khan being used, let's see, as a sort of undercover spy to infiltrate the rebels and control them in a way that fits more of the Empire's purpose. Let's see, I do like the interactions he has with his mother. So who remains to be let's see, very sounds judgmental as well, still being what is this let's see, job that you have on Gorman? This is terrible job. This is just like that other job you had where you failed as a Britzy so-called police officer. So Khan, of course, I do like how he's pretty good at portraying the sympathetic Gorman rebel, if you will, to get the attention of the actual Gorman rebels who don't know that they are being played. So I like the moves like that. I do like how we see a bit of a montage of Mon Mothma and her assistant, that I think is, let's see, actually a character from Rebels, is basically struggling to get the votes. And I will admit, I was a bit surprised when you've got Wellman, let's see, trying to help Saw Gerrera's group. Granted, it becomes a bit more by force by the end of the episode, but I guess that's what happens when you're dealing with someone that's a bit crazy like Saw Gerrera. So, yeah. Let's see, overall, how would I rate this episode? I think I'll give it a... I think it should be arranged around the 8 to 8.5, depending on my mood. So, yeah, I think it's a good episode, good start up. So, yeah, dealing with like all of the sort of stuff that Bix has gone through, and like the relationship troubles she's having with Andor, particularly when he's being trying to protect her, even killing Imperial soldiers to keep her safe. So yeah, I'd say first episode is a good one. Anyway, on to the second episode. After I think Lou Funrell has given Andor the assignment, which might have been mentioned in the last one. Let's see, where he tells him that he wants to find out what is going on with Gorman and try and get in contact with the rebels there. So you have Andor having a let's see, disguised as a new let's see, as a sort of dress designer. What was his? I'm trying to recall his name. Balin Sky or something. Can't really tell that. He goes to a clothes shop. Forget that. He sort of arrives to meet sort of like let's see, the rebels, if you will. Oops, hold on, let me just get yeah, meets the rebels, their leader. He's not really impressed with how how disorganized they seem to be, how easy they are to spot all that stuff. Oops, I accidentally pressed something the wrong button there for a second, but let's see. So yeah, you got basically Andor checking out these rebels, thinks they're all disorganized, they're too eager with little experience, doesn't really seem to support the idea, so which seems to frustrate the rebels that he's not really doing, suggesting anything they do. And yeah, that could cause some tension down the line, at least not with like Andor and these rebels, but with Andor and Luthen. So yeah, we have episodes of Friends everywhere. But yeah, meanwhile, let's see, for Luthen, particularly her assistant, has been listening in on Mothma's new in-laws with Skuldrin, who's apparently found a forgery of his artwork, not with theirs, which has a sort of let's see, wireless audio that can record what they're saying. So they're going to like clean sweep just to find out any more forgeries. And the biggest worry, of course, if they find out that the let's see, that there's a spy gear inside of the artworks, it can trace it back down to them, and they could be in serious trouble. Which you get some very tense arguments with Luthen Rael and Kayla here about how it was, whether or not it was a good idea to give Skuldrin a sort of let's see, piece of artwork that they could spy on, which Luthen seems to think that it wasn't really worth the effort, really. So yeah, you have that bit of moment there. So but yeah. So but yeah. So you have like basically that with like let's see, Luthen, and anyway, I think you have a little bit more Mothma's storyline a little bit. I can't quite remember the detail in which yeah, but I think her attempts to stop the bill sort of failed, but yeah. Anyway, other than that, you have the other two storylines, which is the other one. It's Cyril Khan here, who has come back to report to the ISB directly, who is having troubles with like spending time with the Dara here, who had also had him like spied, and which he's sort of annoyed at, because it's like hey, didn't you like trust me? But she was insist that her boss does it, but also is a bit annoyed that he can only spend about an hour or so time with her. She tells him, of course, to close out the lights, which I don't know what kind of applications that mean, but I think let's see, since Andor's a bit of an adult show, you can probably guess, but if you will, not that kind of adult, not Game of Thrones level, but still. Anyway, Sir Khan reports his findings to Partygate, who seems impressed with the work that he is doing, and encouraging him to do what he's doing. While Khan requests that the intel he gives to the Gormans is reliable, as he's been putting quite the act, basically pretending to be outraged that his room has been inspected, trying to be a sort of protective, you will. So yeah, he gets praise, which he's long since probably wanted from, I guess, higher authority from the Empire, such as Leo Partagaz, which he seems happy about. Which his girlfriend Dadara, is kind of like, you're being a bit weird, but seems to okay, as long as you're happy. Let's see, in this sort of situation. So yeah, the other one is involving Wilman and Saw Gerrera, where he's trying to train Saw Gerrera's best one of his pilots or engineers to do the fuel, if you will, but he's teaching I believe the character, what's the character's name, let's see, Pulter. Let's see, he's trying to teach him how to use it, but he's not lacking confidence. But he's also asking a lot of questions, which eventually leads to I was trying to remember. I forgot my train of thought. Oh yeah, Saw Gerrera killing what appears to be his engineer / pilot, if you will, revealing that he was actually a spy from the Imperials. So instead, you have Wilman coming along with a mission. You get Saw Gerrera talked a little bit of his past, including when he was on Andor, if you will, talking about, let's see, before even I guess the Separatists, where as a child he was forced to build weapons and stuff. So and maybe even be a slave or prisoner of war, if you will. Kind of messed up a little bit of backstory, but yeah. But eventually he gets a whiff of a gas, I guess they're stealing, and then encourages Wilman to take up the similar sort of thing and join his cause, if you will, which seems to be the case. So yeah, that's the end of that batch of episodes. That part, the second episode. So summary. So now my thoughts, if you will. First off, I will admit I do like how you've got the sort of origin of Andor's disguise things, as he did that in Rogue One, but it seems like Luthen's persuasion has got him to put more personas on, particularly this fashion designer one, which I thought was pretty good. I do like how let's see, he's taking his job seriously and let's see, getting in, learning a bit more about the sort of Gorman massacre 16 years ago, which was done by Grand Moff Tarkin, which technically is in the Legends Expanded Universe, but I don't think it was ever directly shown, nor is it really shown here. But you've also got the now upcoming massacre that's about to take place that will next year start forming the Rebel Alliance, as we saw in Star Wars Rebels. So yeah, we have that. So I do like how you got the sort of build up to all that kind of a very long story thread with Gorman here. But yeah, but I do like how Andor's able to easily deduce all the weaknesses that the rebel group has, but also not really offering too. But at the same time, there's a bit of a problem with his rhetoric, because basically he's making the rebels here look very impatient, with him talking about all the different ways they got too many spotters and all that stuff. Oh, you can't trust a spy, not realizing that it's Zero Khan, if you will. So yeah, stuff like that. Meanwhile, I do like how Luthen, it seems like finally starting to admit perhaps maybe he's a bit over his head with like putting too many spies and spying devices around the galaxy, that if one of them could get caught, it could be traced back to him, and then he's kind of like screwed. But he's like letting all these emotions go, like, oh, we should never have done this or that, particularly with county council elections. But yeah, I do like how he's at least the pressure's sort of getting to him, if you will. So hold on a sec. So I do like to sort of like the pressure sort of getting to him. Anyway, Mon Mothma, the sort of senators, it's a bit of a not too much of a major scene from what I can recall, but yeah, except for maybe one, let's see, gift I can't recall, but yeah. Anyway, I do like how Cyril has finally gotten a chance to prove himself to the ISB. And let's see, just doing what his girlfriend says. But I do like how it seems to start to see the cracks in the relationship of spies and trust and all that stuff. So yeah, but I do like how Cyril's mom just seems to like find the sort of spiders creepy, but ends up naming her own son to that sort of let's see matter. But yeah, other than that, let's see. I do like how Saw Gerrera was able to seduce that the guy who was having Wilman trained to be, let's see, take over the devices, actually spy himself for the Imperials, and let's see, play along just to get for that right moment, but at the same time, seemingly seems to recruit Wilman, who probably is going to become a lot more radicalized and extreme over now. Granted, I wouldn't be surprised that he makes it out of the third season alive. I think he's probably going to be a bit toast, if you will, but who knows, I could be wrong. So there is that. So but yeah, overall I think this episode probably an 8. Let's see, maybe an 8. Let's see, yeah, probably I think it's slightly weaker than the first episode, but I still think it's a good setup. So I think let's see, the Saw Gerrera stuff might have been a bit more of these episodes might have been at least 2 story arcs at least, running back to back, I guess, if the showrunner did that instead of just one season and all that stuff. Same with last one, really, but yeah, I do think they could have given these episodes a bit more time to breathe and do all these different sort of blitzy plot lines. Heck, you could still have Gorman in the background, but yeah, and for the big finale, but yeah. But nevertheless, I do like how we got to see Gorman culture, so yeah. Anyway, so now for the next episode summary, which frankly to me this is probably the best episode of the bunch. Let me just the episode basically begins with Andor reuniting with let's see, let me just find him. Oh yeah, Luthen Raal, and telling him how he is like thought that the mission to Gorman was a waste of time, but for the first time we see these two ever since Andor joined him, like from the end of last season. He is like they're unprepared and not really let's see not really ready for this, but Luthen thinks that they need to start somewhere. And this caused a bit of clash between them throughout the bit of the here, where Luthen says he needs him to be a bit more like a leader than a soldier, if you will. And Andor is just like saying that like this pointless cause, as he seems to be still more of just like wants to keep Bix safe, but even when he's being reminded about what he said to Luthen last at the end of season 12 of like, kill me or use me. So it's like, you know what you signed up for. And he seems to get really protective of when Binks about sending Bix on missions. And it sort of intensifies a bit later down the line when he returns home, seemingly having a nice romantic night with like possibly girlfriend, wife. I'm not sure. It could be just her pretending to be wife in public, but nevertheless, she seems to be in a good mood at first, and so Andor ends up having a one since she's managed to tidy up the place. But when it's revealed that Luthen came to visit her, he was not happy, and this leads to a confrontation at his actual art store, in which Luthen sort of does this sort of fake persona of like saying, "Oh, you're returning this lost artwork that fell out from the deliveries and all that stuff," but Fritzy Andor is not really having any of it, so this caused a bit of friction, but eventually Andor, along with like Bix, decides who wants to keep fighting the Empire, which is something I messed up about in the first of these batch of episodes. She wants to like actually make a stand and all that stuff, so yeah, some like so yeah, she encourages Andor to like take her on a mission, and one that would fit her. But before that, I probably need to like mention the other episodes, as you do see Khan sort of let's see wrong one. Khan reporting to like the Dara, who's been told by her boss not to let him know the full extent of what they're doing here. So showing some signs of secrecies and relationship troubles that are probably going to cross down the line, especially if from a massacre there might be a bit more than Khan can stomach, but we'll have to wait and see in that regard. But yeah. So you have that, and let's see. But while meanwhile let's see Luthen has sent in Andor's place to help these rebels, if you will. Let's see. Let me find the image. Val and her partner Cinta here are like assigned to help lead an operation to steal their weapons and prove more about the base's existence, even though Andor says everyone really actually already knows but not doing anything about it. So yeah, they're sort of preparing a heist there. But before that, she sort of rekindled with Cinta, who they seemed to have a falling out, and she seemed to be being a bit ill for a while, but they sort of rekindled, and they're leading the heist. So pretty much telling the rebels that they're in charge. You would need to do what they say. No weapons and guns. You're doing a simple stealing job, which seems to work well at first. Maybe one or two hiccups before one of the citizens came about and caused one of the citizens who secretly held a gun, the same one that gave him Cyril Khan spiders, ends up sort of shooting. Let's see, on shooting. Let's see, Cinta. So yeah, she's dead, and Val is pretty much angry at the let's see young rebel who shot him. Shot her by accident. So yeah, after getting a fist fight with one of the locals who was at the meeting. So you have that. Let's see what else is there. There is no Saw Gerrera episode this part of the let's see episode. So yeah. So you have that, but meanwhile you have Mon Mothma, let's see, attending like dinner parties, particularly meeting Senator Bail Organa, which, from my understanding, they tried to get the original actor that portrayed him in the prequels, Obi-Wan and Rogue One, but due to some conflicting schedules, they had to have this guy as a replacement, which I know it's probably pretty hard for like fans of the prequels like myself, but I can see why they had to do the recasting they did. But it was nice to see that little cameo. But you got Mon Mothma sort of mingling with the senators and all that stuff, and let's see, as well as many of the ISB agents, if you will. But Luthen's assistant eventually gets Lonnie to help her find like the key that's stuck in the sort of like reading one, which Ritzy read by touch, if you will. So while this is going on, probably luckily for Luthen's allies and spies, Mon Mothma end up creating conflict with Nigel Farage over immigration and all that stuff. But you have like Mon Mothma sort of arguing with Director Krennic, who so I don't know what that immigration part was there for a second. I must have forgotten. My mind lost focus there. But oh yeah, her clashing with Director Krennic while everyone is paying attention to the party where you did have the husband and sort of brother-in-law of let's see Squadron's Scott's collection as he's trying to break the tension between Krennic and Mon Mothma, but he's enjoying it. But allows him enough distraction for the art piece to like be taken away and all that stuff. Let's see the radio taken away, which just leaves Luthen happy. But while that sort of debate is going on, meanwhile we learn that the mission that had Ritzy from last episode was basically their way to separate Ritzy some of the gradings with the others, and hold on, I might have been hold on. Sorry, I might have lost track of what I was saying there for a second. Oh yeah, let's see the lost track and let's see. Yeah, while Luthen is busy doing an art heist or does the spy thing, you have Bix killing her torturer, Dr. Grost, if you will. So Dr. Grost and we've got Frank Hill saying he was filming Dexter, referring to Bail Organa's actor. Thank you, Frank Hill. So yeah, Dr. Grist is being tortured by the same device that was used on Brix, and Andor blows up the building as they escape, seemingly probably deal with hopefully deal with Brix's PTSD and torture methods from like this guy as they leave the episode. So ending the episode you well. So that's the story arc. First of all, I will admit I do like a sort of heist that you get with like the rebels and all that stuff. And let's see, some of them are a bit, of course, reluctant to take out orders from strangers, but they realize that they need help, and their leader's like saying, listen to what they have to say. But one of them does disobey, and as a result, let's see, causes someone to die. And he's like all young and crying about it, but his Ritzy reprimanded by the boss to by Val to like you're gonna have to own it and live up to live up to what you've done, not giving him any peace. But yeah, I do like how Val is like back to take over Andor's place, and it makes sense that they would send her for a heist, but she wants her partner to do. So I do like how it seems like after a bit of a while, they seem to have kindled. So it's like, okay, we're going to work together again and make sure that Luthen realizes that this is going to be happening from now on. But unfortunately, she gets shot by a random shot. So Etsy is dead. So that's another major side character now dead in Andor. So we'll have to see who will die next, I guess, which seems a bit dark and morbid. But yeah. Granted, whether or not Fowler will still continue to lead this group remains to be seen, given the fact that they just killed her partner. But yeah, let's see. So, but there's that part. I do like how we seem to also be getting a bit of a clash with Andor and Luthen, who has been, so most part, the loyal soldier / spy that Luthen needs, but when some things are starting to get a bit personal, or when he seems to disagree on like how to handle the Gorman rebellions, they start to have a bit of clash of ideas and all that stuff, and he starts taking it a bit personal when he finds out Luthen visited Biggs, who's been having a bit of drug overdoses, and I do like how Luthen is showing concern for her, but also at the same time still wants her out on the field, if you will, which of course causes clashes with Andor, but eventually he seems to be persuaded that, okay, take a mission that will help Biggs out, which is seemingly kill her torturer. So I do like that aspect. So but yeah. Well, I do like how with the ISB they are keeping some stuff from Zero Khan, so that probably will come back down to bite them, as Khan seems to be showing signs of having some troubles with the relationship with him. And the last episode he was visiting her for only an hour, and they had like sort of awkward kiss. So it's like, yeah, they're probably going to have some troubles. So but who knows? And he might not like what is going to happen to the Gormans. Actually, he may be like pretending to be a sympathizer. And probably, I'm not sure how he would feel about mass slaughter, but we'll have to wait and see in that regards. Oh, I do like how you've got Kayla with T trying to get Lonnie to help her remove the thing, telling him to cover her as she tries to yank the piece out, having struggled with like the sort of skewing messages they have, and it got even stuck, so it's like she's even bleeding her hand just to get the piece out. I do like how after that sorted out, her and Luthen seem to have made a bit of amends and even do a little joke about killing director Krennic, if you will. So yeah, but clearly the episodes are leading closer and closer to the events of like Rogue One, if you will. But yeah, but I do like how let's see that the Dr. Grist is killed by the same torture device that tortured Bix. So a bit of poetic justice, if you will. So granted, I might find revenge. Granted, I suppose the one downside with like this episode, probably for some people, granted some might just view this more as a cultural thing, is the fact that one of the only one of the two characters from the like gay lesbian couple or LGBT couple, however you want to pronounce it, ended up being killed. So yeah. That some might say that's a bit of a fridging there, but I do think that it was handled well with the death what it was done with like sort of reconnecting again. But yeah. Overall, I'd probably give this episode a 9 out of 10. I think it's definitely the best one. The heist was pretty good. Bix getting her deserve vengeance. Let's see, Andor having a bit of a clash with Luthen about let's see what roles to take or not. But yeah, but eventually he's probably going to be in the leadership role. But yeah, well, what happens to many of these other characters remains to be seen. But nevertheless, I recommend watching Andor if you can. But for now, I am Blue Star Saber signing off. Thank you everyone for listening to what I had to say, and good night for now, and goodbye, and happy Star Wars Day. May the Force be with you.